Well, about 5 years ago, I started writing this book. And I kind of stopped and I started again and I stopped and started again. And it went from different titles. And finally, about a year ago, the title Living from Within stuck with me. And because I think for so many of us, we live our lives looking for external things. We look for jobs. We look for it in money. We look for it in houses. And one of the things that I think that we all find, particularly if you're over 30, that living in a material world, focusing on material things, is never satisfying. And if you're over 40, like I am, you've had some experiences where you really realize that you can have all the houses and the cars and the money, and it just never is going to be fulfilling. But what I found is that what is really fulfilling is when we are living our purpose and our own purpose. And that's sometimes hard to discover. It's sometimes hard to discover because for so many of us, our lives have lied to us. Because many of us have just settled into doing what is expected of us. For many of us, people have told us who they thought we were. And the tragedy is that we believed them. We believed them when they told us we weren't smart enough. We believed us when they told us we couldn't step out on faith and start our own business. We believed all the lies that they told us. And so we started living these very shriveled up lives. But in our hearts, we knew that there was something more. There was something more that we can do. And our hearts never lied to us. The problem for many of us, we don't trust our hearts. Our hearts tell us to do certain things, and because it doesn't make sense and it doesn't seem rational, we go the other direction. We go the direction that is most traveled. We go the direction that everybody else is following. That makes sense. But what I believe is that in order to really live fully and live from within, you got to come from the heart. Your heart is your power center. You can never go wrong when you are living from your heart, because that'll take you where you need to go. But it's not easy. It's not easy because folks will tell you, don't do this. That's not the right thing to do. And the reason a lot of people do that is because they're not living from their power center. I remember when I started my first business in California in 1996. And I started this business really because I wanted more from life. How many of you want more from life? You don't want more from life? How many of you want more from life? I wanted more from life, and I knew the more that I wanted wasn't tied to a job. Couldn't get it from a career. Because one of the things that I discovered is that too often we look for other people to validate who we are. And I got tired of looking for my supervisor to validate who I was. He didn't know who he was. And so one of the things that I realized is that I had to make some different decisions about my life, and I had to stop looking for other folks to tell me who I was. And I had to discover who I was for myself. And the challenge for many of us, see, when we're growing up, part of our parents' role is to tell us who we are. And part of their role is to tell us that we can do anything we set our minds to. But the tragedy for most of us, our parents didn't do that for us.